Hi there, this is Kathy Crow. Thank you so much for joining me. I am trying to see if Facebook will let me view myself as Kathy Crow's cards, both with you and on my phone so I can see comments. And so far it doesn't look like it, but let's try it again. I am so sorry that this is taking so much time to do, but yeah, I don't know why Facebook isn't friendlier. It used to be really super easy to do this, and now it's getting quite complicated. I don't think it should be, but it is. Okay, I'm switching back to my husband, and we'll see if that works, because that wasn't working. And there I am. So no, indeed, I cannot be in two places at one time as much as I'd like to be. So thank you again so much for joining me. Hi, Andy. It's nice to see you. I'm glad I didn't actually get started yet so that I had a chance to see that you joined me. And oh, there goes my clock. Oh, it must be like 1 o'clock right now. I must have jumped on just a few minutes early. That's kind of nice. So I am getting comments up here, it looks like. I hope so. That's my intention, and we'll see if that actually works. Andy, if you write something, then I'll know whether I'm getting it or not on this. I can see you here, but I can't see you here on my little phone, which is where I have to see you. There are a lot of things coming out tomorrow. I don't know if you know, but the new catalog is live tomorrow. Exciting, exciting. And I am going to show you some new colors. All right, excellent. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did my nails, and so I thought I'd wear purple today to match my nails. And I got a dark purple sweater out, but figured out let's go with pastel since it is supposed to be spring. It's really beautiful outside, but it's cold. What is I was going to look at the temperature just before I came on to share with you, but so I don't really know what the temperature is, but it is super cold out there. And I was going to go, boy, I just saw the wind blow open my neighbor's trash. Thankfully, they came and picked up the trash just a few minutes ago because the lid just went out. The reason it feels cold is because it's pretty windy here today. And so anyway, I was sitting out. I did sit out in the sun for a little bit, but it was a little bit windy. All right, Andy, have you seen the new Lazy Days stamp set? This is so cute. This is what we're going to do today. And if you look at my Pinterest stuff at all, then you have already seen the card we're going to do today. But I wanted to show you how I did it because it was kind of complicated. And I used retired things. And it's pretty, almost pointless to make a tutorial for things that are, where I use a lot of retired stamp sets because you'd have to go on eBay to get it, and then you might not be able to find it and all of that. So I'm going to put the camera down. Hopefully everything will work fine. It's just in the turning of it. It doesn't even mind being laid down. It's just when I go to turn it, it super acts up. And so anyhow, we'll see. And I have to turn it because otherwise I can't. And then I have to turn all of this too to try to get you all in here. Okay. No, that way. There we go. Okay, I want to come down pretty far because what we're going to be doing today is a lot of sponging. And I did start with, I don't know if you recognize this DSP. It is retired. Stampin' Up! Has a whole lot of papers that they do like this, though. This had, I didn't say the name of it. Where's the big pack of it? So I bought a whole bunch because I could see that it was something I would use like forever. So all of the sheets that came in this pack are all like this. Here it is, right here. You never know. It's called New Horizons. It must have been with that New Horizons stamp set. I should probably turn this around so I can actually see the name of this DSP if I ever need to, but I probably won't, but just in case. It just they have this sort of theme on the back of our big 12 by 12 DSP pretty often, not necessarily horizon like, but just as general sponging kind of things, you know. And yeah, you knew I would love this. I knew you knew I would love this. I mean, anybody who, and I hope you like it too. It is a really good one. So I'm trying to peek down here to make sure that I'm in. I can't, even on my other sheet, my camera over there, it doesn't really look quite centered, but I guess this is as good as it's going to get. So I could turn it, I suppose, just a little bit more and turn this just a little bit more. Am I turning it the wrong way? It seems like I'm turning it the wrong way. Like it does. Why does it look like that? I turned it, but it looks, so on my camera it looks fine, but it looks turned the wrong way on my other screen. Maybe I'll just leave it like this and we'll see what happens. There's a delay, so it takes me a long time to see what you see. No, that was really wrong. So let's turn it like this, and then I'll work at an angle. Oh, that's better. That is better. Okay, good. All right, we'll bring the camera out a little bit further so I can hopefully get everything better. Oh, that's better. Okay. All right. Okay, so anyhow, here's my host code if you want to order anything. Remember, tomorrow is the day, though. At midnight, it goes live, and who knows how long things will hang out in the shopping room before everything's sold out. That's why you want to be a demonstrator. That's going to be my plug for the day. So here are our new core colors. These are not the in colors. They're the core colors, and I am so excited about Lemon Lolly. You're one of my favorites. I've been begging for you for a long, long time. This one is called Bubble Bath, and it's very pretty pink. I keep accidentally calling it Bubble Gum, but it is actually Bubble Bath. And, you know, I'm going to have to get my ink pads out here to see what all of these colors are, because I sort of forget what they are. Like, what is this? Fresh Freesia? It looks like Fresh Freesia. Is that a new a core color, and I didn't even know it? And then this looks like our Lemon Lime Twist. And this is Azure Afternoon. This is the one we're going to use today. I really like that one. That's one of my favorites. This one is Lost Lagoon, and the reason I bought this pack of core color assortment, I usually buy a whole ream, but I bought this because I wanted to see how Lost Lagoon compared with my Tranquil Tide. Because I have a whole bunch of Tranquil Tide. I bought a whole bunch because it was a color that I liked, and when they retired it, I kind of suspected I might need this color for a long time. So I still have a fair amount, but you can see it's pretty different. It's the same hue, but it is much different shading. So, or, you know, color strength or value. I don't know. They have all these different names that to me just mean whether it's darker or lighter. And so I'm going to have to buy some Lost Lagoon because I thought I did and then I didn't. So I actually only have those 2 sheets of Lost Lagoon right now. So I have to hang on to those until I get more. This must be our pecan pie. It's got to be pecan pie. It looks like cinnamon cider. And today we are using cinnamon cider because it's a color that I bought a ton of when they retired it. And there you go. So cinnamon cider is more red. It's more like cedar, you know. But this, I believe, is probably pecan pie. You guys can correct me if I have the wrong names because I haven't really learned them yet. But it's not, I think it's pecan pie because I don't think it's copper clay. Copper clay, I think, is one of the in color ones, but I could be wrong. This is Misty Moonlight. So glad to have you back. Berry Burst, that's a good one, and I'm not sure what you are. You look like Pacific Pacific, oh, maybe your blueberry bushel. I think that might be what you are. And this is Pretty Peacock. Oh, I think of all the colors they brought back in an Encore color, that one's my favorite. I have missed that. I've used it quite a bit because that's what I do. I don't get rid of colors. They get rid of colors. I don't get rid of colors. All right, so to do this card, I am using not only our Lazy Days, which is going to be available tomorrow, and then if you're a demonstrator, of course, you could put this on, today on your pre-order and be sure that you get it, because this one is going to go quick. I can tell you right now. This one will be gone. The dies will be gone, you know, so I might use the Birds and Sailing Home on this one. I used some birds. I think the ones I used were different than Sailing Home, but I couldn't find them. I'm using the little kitty in Grace's Garden. It's the perfect size to sit on the little newel posts. The Treasures of Life, one of my favorites, has the little kid that we're using, and if she were not dressed wintry, it would be even better. But I couldn't find a kid that was a real kid, you know, not just a cartoonish character, that was a summery one. Isn't that odd? I did find my little, this is our old Puppy Dogs and Tails type. I forget what the name of this stamp set is, but it's the little boys, and he's pretty cute, but he's... maybe I'll use him on the porch. He, if he's in the front, I could probably use him. He's got little fireflies and a little cute toad. I'll keep him on the side here. Maybe I'll use him. And then I think I used this for my background. I kind of forget, but I thought I used Winter Woods for this. Now I'm looking at it and it is not Winter Woods. I think we're going to be using Winter Woods anyway. Let's look here. Maybe not. I kind of wanted something. What are those trees? Now I'm not so sure what they are. I thought I had everything I needed, and now I'm rethinking myself because those trees definitely don't look, in my stamp set, those do not look like the trees I actually used. So let me just browse here for a minute, and if I don't find it quickly, then we'll just make do with Winter Woods. What are those trees? Andy, do you have any idea? They're like twiggy little trees. Huh, I bet it's a retired set from a long time ago, and now I kind of remember, I think I hunted quite a while to find exactly the tree. Oh, there they are. You know what? I don't know if they are Beauty of Friendship, but I think we can use Beauty of Friendship for these little trees back here. Just this top part. And let's look at this one. I might even pull in this one too. We'll see. All right, so I think we're all set. We'll have a go at it and we'll see what happens. It's always fun to just see what you can do. And I don't see exactly the background I started with. I think I started with one that had like lots of yellow in it. So let me look again really quick and see if I can find, what did I do with it? I had out that big pack and now I don't see it. So if I don't see it, then we're going to be adding our own yellow because I don't see it. You don't have to start with this. In fact, maybe I'll just do it on white. I'm afraid my blues here might be a bit dark, and I thought that was the color I'd used, but now I'm just not seeing it. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see if I can find that yellow sheet. Just because it's a big step forward, you know, it just speeds things up if you don't have to start from the very beginning and layer. So, I know it was the one that had like lots of, not that one, because I'm saving that one. That one's a good one. Oh, it might have been this one. I think it was, because if it wasn't, we're going to make it work. I think it was this one, because I wanted this to be like a sunrise. And to me, that looks more like a sunrise than a sunset. So, anyway, All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this out of the way here for now. And I'm only gonna end up using, you know, my dimensions. Where did I put them? Here they are. I'm gonna be using just 5 inches this direction and 3 5/8. But I'm gonna go across the whole thing, and that way I get the section that looks the best. Okay, let me drop this down. So hopefully you can see everything really good. And we are going to get going. And we're going to turn that into this. You think I can do it? I hope so. We're going to start with our As Your Afternoon first. If you like to just play with things, then you like to sponge. It's a very satisfying thing to do. All right, so we're going to just start kind of not too light. I think I'm going to start more on the pink side here. I'm actually going to start in my green because I'm going to be using a lot of this area anyway. So we're going to just go ahead and cover up a whole bunch of this. Make some of it pretty dark and some of it lighter. This is all going to get covered up. Okay, just for you to know that, I know you're thinking, why is she starting right on her paper? Well, that's because this is all going to get covered up and cut off. So I'm just trying to pull in some blue, and I'm using the whole sheet because I do not know exactly what's going to come out about. Sponging for me is an adventure. I really never know how it's going to turn out. Sometimes it doesn't turn out well. And then I never throw it away. I just do something else with it. Okay, so we've got a bit of blue going on here. So I think I'm going to just stop at that point because I don't want to cover up all these spots. We're going to be still adding in some other colors. So let's do... we're going to grab out our bubble bath. Bubble bath, because I do want a little bit more pink in there. And we are going to pull out our lemon lolly. Oh boy. This is one that I am so happy with. I know I already told you that, but I am just overjoyed with lemon lolly. Because I like a lot of yellow. Nice bright yellow. Okay, we'll put a little bit there. There's nothing better than just seeing a bit of bright yellow out there in the sky. Okay. I'm kind of putting it all over the place because I'm going to blend it in with the other colors, but I do want some nice bright spots of yellow. And I have no idea what's going to get cut off here. I suspect I'm going to cut off most of this top bit, but who knows? I still haven't decided. Our stamp set is called Lazy Days, and it should be, it should be a day, it should, I don't know, different people have different views of what lazy is. For me, I like to stamp. It's very relaxing for me. So this is something that's pretty good to do on a lazy day, but I know some people don't really view it that way. It's more probably work for them. Okay, we're going to put in a fair amount of pink here and there. I just want to make sure I have some. I want to leave some little pockets of brightness. Just like if you had a cloudy day, you would see the sun kind of shining through. And you can, if you use masking, you can actually get a ray effect. If you have a stamp set that has the rays, like we have our Rays of Light stamp set. You can actually just use that stamp set and get the same thing, and it's pretty easy to do. All right, let me look here and see what else we want. I think a little bit of orange. So we're gonna get our pale papaya out because I don't want anything too shocking at first anyway. And I'm gonna use one of my little ones now because I don't want to have too much. And I really like. Do you use these yellow? I mean these little buns much, Andy? I actually use them quite often. All right. Just a little bit there, and a little bit here just to kind of cover up maybe the more dark edge that's actually kind of accentuated there. Okay, how about right here too? You know, I'm just going through and kind of looking at it. I'm using a cumulus cloud kind of motion because that's how I want that ink to lay on here. I want it to look like that. All right, I think I do need a bit more. I'm not sure if my I'm not sure if the lemon lolly is looking yellowy enough. Let me try just a little bit of my, where is my yellow? There it is, of this, our Mango Melody. Just a little bit. It's pretty orangey. So I'm going to be a little careful. But I'm kind of curious to see what kind of an effect I can get with that added in here. Just to get a bit more yellow going on. Okay, I think I'm ready for a tiny bit more blue and then we'll be done. It's a little bit darker. This must not be the DSP sheet that I started with on the other card. So this one is going to be a much more vivid, where's my stamps? Oh, there it is. I need you. Azure Afternoon. This one's going to be really, really bright. Kind of had an Elmer Fudd moment there. All right, let's see. A little bit more blue. Now down here, it doesn't really matter what I end up with because, again, I'm going to be covering up a lot of this with my green trees. So I do want some blue up here because some of this is going to be coming onto this card. Okay, I think that is going to do. All right, now we're going to stamp out those trees. So let me grab my Winter Woods. I decided I didn't want those. We're going to do the Beauty of Friendship. And I'm going to use this one. Oh, I've got a... all right. Oh, that's right, because Stampin' Up! Had... Why did it tear there? That's interesting, isn't it? Okay. Very curious. That's kind of large. Let's see what better size block I might have. That's too narrow. I only need the top part. I really don't need the bottom part at all. And we're going to use Early Espresso. So I want something pretty dark. Actually, before I do that, let's do the green. I better not jump ahead of myself there. So this one is Sheltering Tree. I don't know if you remember this one, but it it has a nice multi kind of effect. It's not as strong as some. I mean, it looks like it will be, but it isn't. Now tomorrow, I think when our order opens up, our catalog opens up, I think that the Take-A-Pick crafting tool that's going to be available to you is going to be not available. They said that some things haven't really arrived on time as usual. So just to be prepared for that. So I'm going to use pink Parakeet Party. Let's try you and see what we get. You're looking pretty yellowish. Okay, not too bad, but maybe not quite what I want. Now see, it has the effect, this stamp has the effect of dotted trees in the background, which is why I've chosen that one. It's a really good one. Let's try a little bit of Pear Pizzazz and see what happens. See if we can make that look a bit more green. And I'm going to stamp off for the first one just to make sure it's not too strong. And then I think we'll go ahead and do some that are full strength. There we go. Let's do some more stamped off up here. I'm just going to pull that horizon up a bit onto my sky because I think I'm going to want more of that. More of that than below. Working with a big piece of DSP like this is really nice because you can play with it. All right, let's get our Parakeet Party back again. I want to kind of redo what I just did with them. I'm going to just go higher up into the sky. Oops. All right, very good. That is much better. I think we're going to keep Parakeet Party out. I'm not done yet. We're going to, actually not Parakeet Party. We want something lighter, and we've got that Lemon Lime Twist. So I think I'm going to get that out. And we're going to sponge that for the rest of that tree line. Let me grab one of the little... I think I'm done with this stamp set, or stamp. Yeah, I think I'm done with this stamp set. This was a really good one. I used it a bunch. Used it a bunch and am still using it. But where did my... No, I don't know. I'll find it later. I always lose the little plasticky thing on top. And I don't think we're using Winter Woods. One of the things that Jeff and I like to do on a... Oh, here it is. If it's a lazy day for me, it's a little bit different than it is for Jeff. He really does know how to relax. I kind of like to do stuff. And he does too, but it's more sedentary stuff. I guess that's pretty common for us stampers. I think a lot of us have husbands like that. Okay, so we're going to just do a nice soft green all around where those trees are. Just to kind of give it a nice hue. When we drive all around Missouri, this is what we see. we see rolling hills like this with green. That's a little bit too bright, and then also too, I don't know, just not working right. I might have to start all over again because the color isn't quite what I want. I'm going to get out Lost Lagoon. I haven't used this with sponging too much. I want to see if I can get just a bit more bluish green in here. And I might get my tree out again too and just put a little bit more of that in here. I think this Lost Lagoon is working really good. It's giving me a bit, because my sky is darker than my other one, I just need this to be bolder too. I really don't want any red in it, so we're going to cover that up quite a lot. There we go. All right, let me grab that stamp set out again. Let me do some Lost Lagoon with it. Just a little. See what happens. We'll stamp it off though. There we go. I don't even think I need to stamp it off. I think we'll just stamp it off like right on the actual card. There we go. That's better, better, better. All right, that is much better. That gives me that effect of, this is not exactly the set I use because I see my dots in my card are just a little bit smaller. So this one is like many times, you know, you try to make something again, it always turns out slightly different, and it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's gonna look great. All right, so now that we've done that, we will put in our trees. Again, this is going to be a little different. Did I put it on a block already? I did. And we're going to use Early Espresso. And I'm going to use just the tips of my, just the tips. Okay. And then I'm going to get some, I am going to find a smaller one. These are going to be a bit bigger than I really want. Okay, that's good for that. Let's find some smaller ones. That one is just not quite to scale. I need a littler one. And I know I can find it. Shouldn't take too awfully long to find it. Let's see here. Something very small. I see you right there. Okay, this one is a very old one too. This one's called Happy Scenes. And it has a little bird on it. I think I'll use my scary one instead. I think this is going to be sized, better size for this. Let's try it and see. I only need a little bit here, just the tiny, tiny bits here on the end. I'm just gonna. Okay, I actually just need, I'm gonna get out my Winter Woods because this still isn't quite getting the effect I want. I need something still smaller. This is why I keep my old stamps. They're fun to pull in. I know you guys do too, because you always tell me this. You always tell me, oh yeah, I use that for that, you know, or whatever. Now, my Winter Woods isn't as easy for me to use because it's a cling one. And it's nice to be able to actually see what you're doing. But I'm going to just use just the tip of this one. So, well, I'll just use the tips of the line, I guess. not really seeing it very well. I'm pressing pretty lightly because I don't want this line particularly. So I'm going to take my sponged thing there, and then we're going to get just that line in there. And I'm trying to be careful to not ruin my ink pad with my, because this is, I'm stamping into early espresso. I don't really want a whole lot of green in there. There we go. All right, that gives me little teeny tiny branches way in the background. Hopefully you can see that. And that was from our Winter Woods cling set. That one hung around in the catalog for a little while, thankfully. I'm a big tree fan. I collect trees. Anytime they come up with another tree stamp, I almost always get it. They're really useful because they almost always are just slightly, you know, sized differently. All right, so now what we are going to do is we're going to make the little porch that's going to go on here. And so I need to use a piece, and that's going to help me figure out exactly how much of this I'm going to use. So I'm really just going to be setting this aside for now. Let me put my brushes over here on the side. And I'm going to need to cut, you can use the pecan pie. I've got retired cinnamon cider. The copper clay would work. Any crumb cake would work. Almost anything would work. And I'm going to use the floorboards stamp, first of all. Okay. And we're going to stamp a nice little floor. That's dirty. And we'll use this one instead. Oh, it's my hand. I thought it was my stamp. Let me clean my hand. There we go. That was going to help a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to use this early espresso, and I want you to see how easy it is to stamp this floor. It's super easy. So I'm only going to use, you know, a portion of this, but I'm going to go ahead and just start. And you know, try to line it up, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't line up perfectly. It's going to be fine. Oops, I didn't stamp it correctly, though. There we go. Now, if I was not on camera, I could put my face right down here. I'm going to start over. It's got to be a little better than that. I'm going to get my head down here and start in the middle. And then because this is a photopolymer stamp, you can actually line it up. Just line up the top, you know, the top line. And I'm going all the way across, even though I'm only going to use a portion of it. The more you stamp, the more likely you're going to get a section that you really like. It's just the nature of stamping. Some, you know, some parts are going to look better than others depending on how great a job you did. And I'm trying, but I'm human, so I don't do it perfectly. And I don't need a ton, but I'm going to go ahead all the way down, not all the way down, but just one more row. I know I don't need this much of a porch. I need to have enough room for my rocker and the kid and the porch column to sit on. But you can see this is more than I really needed. So I'm going to stop there and then show you how I made the textured lines, because this is not just a flat floor. I actually kind of textured it a little bit. You might not be able to tell in the photo, but you sure can in person. And it's super easy to do. What all you need to do is get your what is this called? It's a scoreboard. Okay? If you put your scoreboard up here and get a stylus tool, you can score right along these lines. Now I'm gonna flip it over because I want some lines to go up and some down. I'm gonna start here and I'm just scoring all along all these lines. Okay, I'm not trying to stay on the lines that are actually there because this is not the finished product. Now on the top one, this is going to be actually the top one. I do want that one to be fairly straight. And it's not. It's at an angle. So I'm going to move that so I have my line, a little bit more of a line on that one. Okay, pretty good. Now I'm going to turn it over. And just so that I don't want all the lines just going down. So I'm just kind of going right in between. And then you can always just move your cardstock just a little bit because you don't really want it uniform. It's not going to show enough to really give you the sense of the line. So because this, of course, is going to be very straight, but it's not going to be the same on your stamp. So you really kind of want it to be off a little bit. You don't want it to be perfect. Oops, I need to come down a little bit further down here. I do have a corrugated embossing folder, and I did that, and it's just a little too big. Just doing this actually worked better, gave me that texture I wanted. I can do as many lines as I want. If it seems a bit too much, you can flatten it out easily. But actually, that's perfect. Okay, so now we've textured that. We've got a nice floor. We're going to cut this floor. This one is going to be 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. I'm going to put my dimensions right here for you. Okay, so it's going to be 1 1/2 inches wide. I'm going to start by trimming right here because I actually need the top of this floor is going to be the top. It's at an angle, so I'm glad that it's a narrow piece that I can fix because my sides aren't going to be angled properly. So we're going to get them angled properly here. I'm going to use this line. This now is my straight line. I'm pretending it's my straight line. We're kind of reshaping this piece because when I stamped on that floor just a minute ago, obviously I stamped it at slightly an angle, and now I'm having to kind of reorient my cardstock. So I want this to be, this is going to be 3 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim a little bit off here. So kind of want what's in the middle here. And then we're going to use this again, and we're going to go 3 3/4. Now this is the size I want. I'm going to just double check with my card because that looks close. I think I might make it just a little larger just to be on the safe side because I'm having to re-angle everything. So I'm giving myself a little more room. And 1 1/2. We can do that. I know I'm not going to probably need any more than that. Okay, now my blade's getting pretty dead again. I'm going to have to change that out. All right, so I think that's pretty squared. It might not be perfect. We've still got some room. I'm going to set it aside for now and not worry about it. And we'll get on with the rest. And then if there's something that needs to be fixed, we'll fix it later. All right, so now the other part that we're going to do is we're going to cut out our pieces. And let's go ahead and stamp the kitty and the girl right now and get them done. I'm going to just use some white cardstock for that. We're going to just fussy cut those out so I don't have to mask anything. It's very simple. And if you really like this stamp, you can always put the grandfather in too. He'd be large though. I think he'd be pretty big in that porch area. I don't know that he'd really fit. I haven't tried him, but we're going to just stick with the grandkid. And I'm just going to ink her up. She's pretty dark. Let me do another one. There we go. That one worked out a little bit better because my inker is pretty heavy. I just recently re-inked everything, so sometimes I get a little too much ink on my stamps. Kind of a trick to be able to ink your stamp pads up to exactly the strength that you want. It's something I'm still learning how to do. I don't always do it as well as I'd like. Do I have the kitty in here? Sometimes I stamp these things ahead of time, but I don't see you. So we'll go ahead and just do another one. You're kind of dark too. There we go. That's better. I did a calico cat on the card, and it turned out pretty cute. I haven't tried many of those yet, so I wasn't sure if I could really handle it. Okay, so again, that was Grace's Garden, and then the little kid was Treasures of Life, both retired stamp sets. All right, now we're going to color those, and here is another time where I am so glad that we have our lemon lolly, because I'm going to need that for both the cat and the jacket. So I'm going to take the dark lemon lolly first, and we're just going to color in around where the darker part is going to be, where these lines are. And then I do this just to make sure that we're going to just do a pretty simple cat. I don't think I'll bother with making it a calico one, just for time's sake. Here's the lighter color. I don't know if my dark lemon lolly is going to make enough difference, so I'll pull in some Mango Melody. When Tuxedo black Memento ink doesn't smear with your alcohol pens, but I do still color off on the side just to be on the safe side. Sometimes if it's still kind of wet, it will a little bit mark up your pen. Kind of just depends. So here's Mango Melody, and we'll just add a little bit of that just to make sure we've got a little bit more definition there and there on our little kitty. And our little girl's hat. And we've got boho blue. I love boho blue. We're going to take a little Azure Afternoon and the boho blue. No, actually, I'm going to take that back. Let's use Balmy Blue. Balmy Blue is going to be a little lighter in color. So let's color with Balmy Blue first. This is sort of similar to our Seaside Spray. Okay, so that's Balmy Blue. That was the dark one. Let's do the light one. Actually, we're gonna, because we're taking away his hands and everything, we're making all of that a scarf. Normally I would do the skin color first, but I sort of forgot, got carried away. So this is our Azure Afternoon. We're gonna add in some of that right where his hands are particularly. Okay, there we go. And then, oh, let's do the boots. Let's do those boots. I don't really want a mud puddle on the porch. This is a very colorful card with the background and all. So we're not gonna have like lots of color here in her clothes. We're gonna keep it very simple. All right, now to get to the skin, then we will fussy cut the clothes out and ready to go. Let's see, we've got, where is my peach? Peach, peach, peach. You're missing. Huh, where are you, peach? There you are. Okay, petal pink is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to use the light petal pink for her little face and hand. Okay. All right, now we're going to just fussy cut this out. I do want this to be fairly close to the image. I don't think I want a lot of lines around. I you know, don't want a lot of white border around because she's going to be right on this porch. I might have lopped off a little of her boot. I'm not sure. I don't think I did, but it kind of looks like I might have. It was pretty dark down there with the ink. Hard to see. When I'm by myself, I stick this up right by my nose when I'm getting to these little bits. It's hard to see otherwise. Okay, there we go. So she's pretty cute. Clip out our little cat. I guess I can get it pretty close to my nose and still not interfere with the camera too much. So what do you like to do when it's a lazy day? Jeff and I go to the coffee shop. Last week we noticed that our Sunday morning coffee shop guy was in the coffee shop where we were having coffee on Saturday. We have two different spots because the one place decided to close one of their shops on Sunday morning. So, well, Sunday, the whole Sunday. So we had to find another coffee shop, and we really like it. They've got really good, oh boy, Roots is where we go for Sundays. And Roots Coffee Bar, they have the best pastries and baked goods. Oh man, so every Sunday, I didn't get anything this last Sunday because, and Jeff didn't either. We were going to a church picnic yesterday. Oh, it was fun. It was a little windy and cold, but other than that, it was a blast. Kids had so much fun. They had bounce house. They had, isn't he cute? This little cute kitten. They had, oh, what else did they do? They had they have a frisbee golf, disc golf, excuse me, all these new names for everything. They have a disc golf course on the back property, and that's where we did the picnic. It's pretty big. I don't know how, I wanted to go walk around and see how big it is. It's pretty big, but it's covered with trees, of course. So anyway, that was fun. Cotton candy, face painting. Oh, they had all kinds of stuff going on. It was really fun. All right, so now we've got that done. Now we're going to do the porch. Okay, so we've got the little I'm making it a porch. Now, you could make it a gazebo. You could make it a portico. You could make it anything you want. But I'm just using these dies for now. I don't think I'm going to... The birdhouse is really cute to put on this, too. And the rocking chair stamps up really nice. I do like the rocking chair that's a stamped one. Maybe even a little bit better than the one I'm using. But the problem with it is it's a little out of scale to this kid. So we're gonna have to... I did not change out my plates, so you're gonna see my old plate. These pieces can shift around. It's not going to be that big a deal. So let's cut a little bit more off here. So it's easier to get you through. So we want one of these, and one of these. Okay, and then I am going to grab out, grab this out. And so the things that might not be orderable tomorrow is a tool, the Pick-a tool, it's a Pick-a tool thing, thingy. It's a great tool. There's actually a one of these little brush tips that goes on it too, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I know I have it. I'll have to find it and figure out a way to store it, because there are a whole bunch of other tips that are going to be available. There will be probably a tip like this. It's in the craft. It's going to be a little crafter's tips that you will be able to screw in and out of here. These are really cool. Oh, there is one right there. I've got it. Well, I should be using it more, but I don't. I tend to just use, I keep these in here, so I just use these. These are the ones I got with my die cut machine years ago, so sort of habit. I just use these, but those tools, there's what was one of the tools they had? They had a different one, and oh, I'm definitely getting the tools. I need to find a place here on my desk to keep them so that I actually use them with my Pick-a tool, because the Pick-a tool's a good, really good all-purpose crafter's tool. And nice to have all the different pieces, you know, right there. And then I can just keep the whole thing on my desk and have it all handy. But right now I don't. So I keep my Pick-a tool off of my desk. And anything that's sort of off my desk, I forget that I even have and don't use. It's sort of like your coffee maker, your blender, all the things that, you know, if you really want to use them, you have to find a place to put them right there on your kitchen counter. As bad as I know you don't want to. I don't, but if you want to use it, it's kind of got to be super handy. Oh, there's the rug. The rug is cool. Okay, so now we've got these done. When I did my card, I kind of sponged these a little bit just to bring out some of the detailing a little bit. I'm not going to do that just for, you know, time's sake today. All right, so now I'm going to use this porch to see what part of this scene I want to use. So I'm going to have some space up at the top to put my sentiment. I have to have my porch on here. Okay, the newel post has to, oops, this is upside down. I believe, yes, okay. So this is going to go more like that. The newel post, I want it to sink onto the porch some. This is going to go here. The rocker's going to kind of come in behind. Our little kid's going to be on the side. So once you kind of know where you want the scene, you'll kind of figure out which part of the sky you like best. And I think I'm going to stick with my stormier side. We'll stick with that side. And then I'm just going to layer it right on here and then cut it after I've got it layered on. What I want let's do this size. This one is 5 inches by 3 5/8. So let's at least cut that. Know exactly what I'm working with. Okay, so 5 inches. I'm going to start with the bottom off where I know I at least, well, actually I better not. Some of that's got porch on it. I might need to stick my porch on it and then trim so that my porch is where I want it. Okay, I'm going to glue it down. The other things are going to have dimensionals on it, so I can just glue this. The only thing is I want it to be straight. So let's hope I get it straight. That's the tricky part, is getting it straight on there. So let's see. I've got some. What do clouds wear? There's a bunch of clouds in here. What do clouds wear? This is a joke. In case you were lost for a minute, wondering what the heck I'm talking about. I think I'm going to move all the way over. I don't know. I kind of like that. Maybe not. Let's go like right here. Maybe down a little bit. Let's try it there. And then let's see what 5 inches will get us. If we have this trimmed off. Oops, I'm trimming off my porch. Okay, so 5 inches. Ooh, that doesn't give me a lot at the top. Good, that's a good thing. I don't want to cut off a lot at the top. So that is 5 inches. I do need to trim off just a tiny bit more on the bottom here. And where I'm struggling a little bit with my corrugated, kind of hand corrugated piece. Those are hard to trim with our trimmer. Well, if you've got deep corrugated, it tears it because it's weakened the paper fibers enough. They're soft. So you do have to be careful. Now this is going to be 3 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to start on the side here. Okay, and 3 5/8 of an inch. Okay, that's going to give me enough to, let me cut off a tiny bit more on this side, right here. I'm going to start in the middle of my floor. I don't want it to tear. I'm afraid I'm going to tear it if I do too much with that blade. Okay. And 3 5/8. Right about there. Did I get it? I didn't get quite all the way through. I was being very gentle. Because that's a tiny bit crooked. Let's fix it. 3 5/8. Make sure again, 3 5/8 right there. Okay. Got to be careful when you're doing just such a little bit. If you're not careful, that will tear. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now that is our horizon that we're working with. And now we can put on our porch. Okay. Have it like right. It can be over a little bit, but not too much. And you're definitely going to want mini dimensionals for these. Oh, here they are, right here. Okay, I have already cut a bunch. Like right here, I've cut a whole bunch of them in half. I've also got an edge right here that I think might be thin enough for me to be able to go on the top here and not show through too much. It might a tiny bit. I'm not going to do a lot, just a little bit. This little tiny bit on the edge where the mini dimensionals are not cut out. And then you can get a nice narrow strip. We do have strips, but they're going to be too fat anyway. You might as well just cut the edge of your mini dimensional package to get right there on the edge. And then the mini dimensionals are, I don't know, I am not sure if it's, I don't remember. I think they're a bit too fat to fit in. If you go on the fattest part of the newel post, I still think they show a bit on the side. Just a tiny bit though, not much. So I'm going to just stick 2 of them there and trim off the sides. Okay, so if you go on the side here, you can just kind of trim off those tiny sticking out parts. I think what I did is I can see where I already cut a bunch in half, and I just used the half bits. But this works as well. Okay, so what do the clouds wear? They wear thunderwear. Thunderwear. Pretty funny, huh? It's a good one for a rainy day. It's not rainy here. It's nice today. Very nice. It's still really breezy out there. My goodness, look how windy it is. I am not going to get out on the bike today. Rats. Was really looking forward to it because I haven't been out on a good bike ride for several days now. All right, now to get this side in, we do have to move it over a bit. Okay, so there's our little porch. Just going to cut off the edge of it that we don't need. And then we're going to use those half dimensionals in a minute. Let's go ahead and put on our rocker. Okay, so we're going to put this is going to go here. Our rocker is going to go here. You know, you cannot really see those lines very well on the rocker. You can see it is indented really nice. I mean, they're embossed. So you can see them really easily. All the little lines on my porch and on my little fence post. But you can see them better with it when it's I'm looking at my pens here. Here's Sahara Sand. That one's pretty light. Let me try crumb cake would be better. There we go, crumb cake. If it was this is white cardstock, harder to see. So I'm going to get out my crumb cake. Has a very, very fine tip. Now I am going to tell you guys that for those of you who don't know, how dark is that? That's pretty dark. I actually want it to be lighter than that. They are, they've redone our markers. So these Stamp Right markers have a not quite as fine a tip on this fine writing side that I'm going to be using here. This is Sahara Sand. This is a retired color. It's very, very light. So I can just go in right on my embossed edges and kind of darken up some spots here on this rocker, just because, you know, it's not showing up quite as well as I'd like. Now some of this is going to be covered on my porch anyway, but we'll stick it on there. The lines are already there. And I'm just using this fine marker. I don't know if the tips we're going to have are going to be fatter on this side. I think they were the same size on this side, but on this side, they're going to be a bullet tip, like your standard marker bullet tip, and I'm so glad. I do use these writing tips some, but not as much as I would if they were the other type. I would be using them more. I'm going to do the newel post a little bit here too. Right where their little lines are, just so that you can kind of see it a little bit. It's hard to see these lines on a camera. You can see them in real life a little bit, but it's even hard for me to see because again, it's white cardstock. I think the darker cardstock shows it up better. I think I'll get it out and see, because I did cut up a bunch. Let's look at our cinnamon cider ones and compare. Like here's the rocking chair. I think you can see the lines in this better in the dark cardstock. I don't know. Can you see it? I don't know. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can't. I don't know. I'm going to hold it up here for a minute and see if you can see that. I don't know. Can you? I can't tell if you can or not, but I can see it and I can feel it. It's textured. Anything that has a texture to it is really appealing to me. Okay, now let's stick our rocker on the porch. And I don't need to worry about it too much. It can just stick on here with these mini dimensionals where they will go on easily. This rocker's going nowhere. It is on a porch with a railing in front of it. So I'm not going to need a whole lot of dimensionals to get them to get this to stay on where I want it. I'm going to kind of stick I need this as a guide to see where the rocker's going. Okay, because this is going to go down here near the bottom. So my little rocker is going to go about here. Okay, and now this, I want this up above my rocker a little bit. So I am going to stick mini dimensionals just here. And then here, I'm actually going to need to double them up a bit. So I'm going to get these half cut, the ones that I've cut in half. I'm going to cut a few more in half, so I have plenty to work with. This is where I used all the little halves. We're on these pieces because I've done a few of these cards. They're actually pretty easy to put together. If you're a beginner who likes to do these kinds of scene cards, then this is a really good scene builder stamp to buy. It has clouds in it as well. The birds and the flooring and this rug and the rocker and even the little birdhouse and potted plant. I mean, all of these things, well, we call these scene builders. You're going to be able to use this for years on backgrounds. Now, those are the ones that only need to be single. I'm going to get doubles on these ends just to make sure that it stands up high enough. So we'll put one layer on here. Oops, I didn't grab it. And then peel it off, and then we'll put another layer so that it ends up at the right level. All the way across. Get all those little pieces off. Very time consuming. Why are piggy banks so wise? Do I even know who our, economic advisor, is right now? I don't even know. I haven't heard anything about any of that stuff. I wonder why. Very curious. Okay, peel that off. We're going to put a double layer here too. So there's another half piece and one more little half piece. Oh, that one's not quite. Let's grab that one. There we go. All right, now we're ready to stick this on. Yes, that took a little bit of time, but believe me, it's worth it. Stand up so that I can see that I'm getting this centered properly. Okay, there we go. Oh, you're so cute. And then we put our little girl in here. So we'll stick some dimensionals on her. Now these mini dimensionals, since they're tiny, they're so handy to have. You definitely want a pack of mini dimensionals and the regular sized ones, because these are very tedious to use if you have a very good sized space to be putting things on. But the mini ones are really useful. Now if we put the cat here, I think we just need one layer. I think we just need one layer of dimensionals. They're probably, I bet there's a nice dog. I looked for a good dog because I'm more of a dog person. But oh, you're so cute. All right, let's clean this space off just a tiny bit. And the little dimensional pieces all over the, I get these dimensional backings all over the place. They get stuck to my foot. And when I'm done, I always have a huge mess to clean up. All right, so that is good. Now we're going to do another piece of cinnamon cider as our backing. Oh, I forgot. I need to stamp. My little birds and the sentiment. All right, so for my sentiment, I'm not going to use any of these, but I think, I don't know, those birds might be a little bit big. I think I've used high, oh, what is it called? It's called High Tide. And no, I don't know. We're going to use the High Tide ones, but not those. We'll just use the bottom part. These are not the ones I used. I wonder what birds I used. I have no idea. A lot of stamps have little birds on them, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to find the ones you want. And these are right here on the bottom. Pretty easy. We'll just use our black. Let me make sure that they're gonna fit in this space. Barely. I think I'm gonna just use these two bottom ones. We'll just ink those guys up. Okay, so she has some little birds to be looking at there, because she's obviously looking up, and I just felt like the sky wasn't quite enough to be looking at. I needed her to have something else to look at as well. High Tide, you've got like these little, I've used this stamp set probably the most. Another retired stamp set. That's a golden oldie. You'll want it if you have not got this one. This is one you would want. I don't think, though, that any of those sentiments are going to work either. I'll have to find a good sentiment. And actually, Lazy Days has a whole bunch. So it's always a good day when we spend time together. I mean, how perfect is that? But I actually do have some new neighbors to come. Now, do I have my welcome to our street one handy? No, I've already done the It's Always a Good Day when we spend time together. So let's not do that one again. Let's do a welcome to our street. I think that'll be nice because I do have some new neighbors that are moving in up there. And at church about 2 months ago, our minister in his sermon made us promise Don't you hate it when they do this stuff? Made us promise that when we saw a U-Haul in the neighborhood, we would welcome the new neighbors. So I'm sort of committed. So welcome to our street. I have to do it. I said I would, and now I'm going to have to do it. The only person who heard me was Jeff, but I noticed that he did not do it. At least I don't think he did. He might have, and I just didn't hear him, but I kind of want to fit these on one stamp. Where's my little tiny block? Because if I have a big block, oh, there you are. All right, so we're going to put these together. So here's to our street, and get them lined up here. Welcome to our street. That looks a little crooked. There we go. And then since I've got cinnamon cider for the porch, that's what I'm going to use on this sentiment. But, you know, you would want to use whatever your porch color probably is. That's not going to fit. We're going to have to go here. Oh, I hope it shows up. Oh, it did. Very good. All right. Welcome to our street. On the other one, I had it up in the sky, which was nice, but it works right there, too. And in fact, there you could put a bigger sentiment. But these have the perfect size sentiments for so many things. And the other thing I really liked about it is it had a variety of sentiments. So if you are pretty new to stamping, this is a good beginning sentiment type stamp set, too. It has just friends and back, so you can say welcome back, you know, welcome friends. Welcome is all on its own. When it's your birthday goes good with a bunch of these other ones. Thanks is on its own. To our street. Home is where our story begins. When you take time for yourself, it's always a good day. And when we spend time together. I mean, this is a very multi-purpose sentiment stamp set. And there aren't enough of those, you know. So that's one of the other things that was appealing to me. Now, so for our cinnamon cider, do I have another piece out here? I better find one. I think I have a whole bunch in my scrap box. I do. In fact, I have a really mutilated piece, so we'll cut this one down. So we're going to put this on a piece of cinnamon cider. This one is 3 7/8. 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. Well, that's too long, like way too long. I want it to be, the 3 5/8 is even a tiny bit wide. Let's narrow it down. Let's do, instead of 3 5/8, oh, I did it bigger. That would explain why it was too big. So 3 5/8. Wow, I actually, how did I do it so big? I thought I was measuring, but I didn't. Okay, 3 5. Now that's too narrow. This is 3 5/8. Oh, 3 7/8. What a ding dong. Okay, I have to do it again. Now my paper is all mutilated. Let me grab another sheet. It's a good thing I have a bunch of cinnamon cider. And I do. All right, try it again. So 3 5/8 was just a hair too big. So let's go a 1/16 less. And I'm going to, before I cut it, eyeball it. No, that's not right. So 3 7/8 was too big. That's right. So we don't want it 3 7/8. We really want it right here, which is 3 3/4. Maybe just a hair over 3 3/4. That's easier to measure also. Yes, 3 3/4. And this measurement should be right about 5 inches. I think 5 inches is going to be good. Maybe if it's a 1/16 almost over, you'll be fine too. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, now for our Azure Afternoon piece, this one is 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. Okay, and then you're gonna have, that's gonna leave a nice border all around it. I wanted to have more Azure Afternoon in my sky, but you know, that just didn't end up happening, but that's okay. All right, and then that is gonna fit on a regular base, regular card base. Okay, let me glue this together and we are done for the day. Man, I only got a couple of jokes done. Why are piggy banks so wise? They are filled with common sense. I like that one. That would be a really good joke to introduce the concept of saving to your child. If you haven't done that yet, I think they might appreciate it more maybe if you had a joke to go along with it. How much have you saved today? Oh. If they ask me that, then I would be in trouble because it's stamping up new catalog time. That's not going to happen. Why is Peter Pan always flying? This is a good one. You probably know this one. Why is Peter Pan always flying? And no, it has nothing to do with anything strange. Why is Peter Pan always flying? It's because he never lands. Neverland, never lands. I bet you heard that one before. That one sounds familiar to me. Okay, now this glue that I'm using is really good, but I do have a hard time getting things set in time. I'm a slow worker. Okay, there we go. Now I see I didn't punch out a hole right there, but that's okay. We'll leave it at that. All right, we have got, oh good, I've got one that I cut, a piece of white, cut at 4 1/4, and this is 11 and scored at 5 1/2. This should fit right on. Oh, it's a little bit on the skinny side. So let's trim that off. Maybe this is 4 1/2 and not 4 1/4. Let's look. 4 1/4. No, it was. So I ended up with a skinnier piece. Oh yes, that's right. If this is 4 1/8, that's why. I guess with my other card, I actually left the white on the sides. Oh, that's right. I did do that on purpose because it sort of is nice because of the newel post. Sort of gives some white. The white border on the sides actually not bad. Kind of like it. I think I'm gonna trim it off though, because I had more on my other one and I don't want to trim my blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and just trim this down to 4 1/8. And then it'll fit on there perfectly. My card's just gonna be a tiny, tiny bit on the skinny side. How do you get a good price on a sled? Well, not buying one will save you some money. Our sledding days are kind of gone. I like to sled. It's fun, but it's cold. I've gotten to be a real wimp in my old age. I used to not mind the cold so much. Like today with the wind, when I sat out on the porch, I was just thinking, wow. I think I would ride my bike even on a day like today, but I am not going out there. It is cold, cold, cold. Instead, a coffee and donut sounds good. That's my perfect kind of lazy day, is coffee and a donut. What are your favorite donut places? We've got some really good donut places here. There's George's Donuts. We've got the usual suspects, Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts and all of that. But you've got, oh man, there's a donut shop on almost every corner here. So you can get donuts all over the place, and they are delicious. I kind of am a scone fan, better than donuts even. More substantial food for me. Okay, there we go. Isn't that cute? So lazy days. with whatever old stamps you've got to stick on your porch, and you're all set. You've got everything you need. Tomorrow is the day for this stamp set to come live, so I hope that you are getting ready to take advantage of it. I am. I'm going to get up probably in the middle of the night tonight, as I'm not missing out. I've finished with all of these. Now next week I am going to do my corner one, countryside corner, I think it's called. I cut them apart. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're an experienced stamper, or unless you are going to watch my video tomorrow, because I am going to show you how to make those biggest ones nice and stable. Because once I cut out countryside corners, the two biggest ones have really long sides because they're very large stamps, and they're just not quite stable enough as is. So now that I cut it apart, so I'm going to make a nice border, and I'll show you how to do that if you're interested, so that you can have it too and separate it out so that it's easier to use all over the place in different colors without having to cut and layer everything, because you shouldn't have to. All right, thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate your sharing my videos and commenting on them and letting me know that you are watching, you appreciate it. That you are eager to get on with your stamping business, whether it's just stamping for your friends and family. That is just as much of a business as everything else. In fact, it's probably more of a, important of a business. People who get your cards feel so loved and appreciated, because getting a card in the mail is like super sweet. It doesn't happen all that often. Most of the stuff that we get in the mail isn't, is junk mail, or if you even get junk mail, we don't get nearly as much mail as we used to. So getting anything in the mail is special. So good for you doing this. This is something that most people don't take the time to do, and to actually handwrite a note on a card and then even make the card is pretty cool. So good job. Keep it up. Get ready for that catalog tomorrow, and I will see you next week with something brand new. Whether it's countryside corners or something else, I don't know, but it will be something. All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye.